Hello, friends. How's everyone this evening? My name is Brenda. Give a couple minutes to let some folks join. I apologize for being late this evening. I planned on going live around 8 p.m. and we have company in the house, football going on, dinner being served. So it was a little late. Just gonna burn a little Palo Santo. This was a signature scent from my yoga studio and something that still just brings me instant relaxation. So calming. It's calming and it helps clear the air of any negative energy. So see if I can't get this set up here from the screen until it burns out on its own. I will tell you that using the camera that I'm using, the screen that I'm using, I can't see comments, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that because I would really like to engage in conversation with those of you who are watching. So you can try leaving a comment. If I can see it, I will address it. If not, I will address it when I go back and read comments later. I was really hoping to make this an interactive. So last time we had Yogi talk, I talked about some personal experience about kind of being stuck in my life and like realizing that I kind of lost my zest, like I just wasn't happy all the time. I wasn't waking up happy like I used to. And so I did an exercise, not to recap the whole thing, and you're certainly welcome to go back and watch the first Yogi talk. But I did an exercise where I made a list of everything that was going well in my life, when I thought my life was like perfect, when I thought things were, I was just like living my best life, like what was going on in my life then. So I made a list of those things, and then I made a list of things that happened that, let's see if I can find a cushion to sit on here. Things that happened that maybe made those things impossible to achieve. So I made that list, and I figured out some things that some were outside of my control, some were within my control, but the fact is I just made a list of things, like the pandemic and working from home and having back surgery, physical limitations. I had an entire list of things, and then in trying to find my way back to living that best life again, before I could take that step, I had to go back and look at that list again and determine what good happened from those things. So that was an exercise that I went through. And where I left off at the end of our talk was deciding what I want and what I need now to get that life back, so that I could rewrite my story. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only person who has had something very pivotal happen, especially in the last couple of years. It's been really tough and really life-changing for so many of us. And I'm imagining that I'm not the only one who's having a hard time figuring out what my new structure is going to be, what kind of routines can I put into place, like what do I want my life to look like now, what's my new story based on things that have happened that have changed my life. And for some people, for some of you out there, you're becoming empty nesters for the first time, or perhaps you lost a loved one in the last couple of years, and for that I'm very sorry. But that is forcing you to live a new normal. Some of you are going through or went through a divorce or a separation or even a breakup of a friendship. That's really just, it's just as difficult. For me, it's not anything drastic or painful. In fact, for me, what's on the horizon is retirement. But I talked about this last time too. It's still a little bit of a mourning situation because it's, by retiring, I'm giving up a lot of my identity. I've been an employee of the federal government for 35 years. Like, I had gotten up every morning and gone to work for 35 years, and 5 years prior to that before I started with the government. So when you try to figure out, what do I want my story to be now? What do I want my life to look like when I get to that point? So I came up with a few things that we could work on. I did some of these already myself, and I'll share with you. And I welcome your feedback and any comments you might have too, anything that you're going through. I'm going to see if I can adjust my camera just a little bit. Excuse me. It's not sitting quite right. Nope, it's telling me I can't. It said I can't turn it while I'm live, but I did, so I think it likes that. Boy, I am really struggling with this tonight. Okay, we'll go with that. So I came up with a few exercises that maybe we could work on together, or you can work on by yourself. But the first one is, like the whole point here is like we're trying to figure out what lights you up. Like what lights you up? Like, what are you passionate about now? What do you really enjoy? And maybe it's something that lights you up, that you're passionate about, that you don't have time for in your life now. So let's find a way to incorporate that into your new norm. So one exercise that you can do, this might seem a little daunting, but you can take the image did turn, but the music overpowered your voice more. Can you hear me now? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me now, Cindy. Maybe this speaker was too close to the microphone when I turned it. So I'll just keep it like it is. Hopefully the music's not too loud now. But thank you. But one thing that you can do, and this exercise might seem a little daunting, but you can actually track, like take a piece of paper and you can track 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. A month seems like a really long time, but if you really want to get to the root of it, track everything that you do hour by hour, just to see what your day looks like now. What are you spending all of your time on? And I mean, literally write down, I watched Netflix for 2 hours, and then I ate lunch, and then I took a nap, and then I talked on the phone, or then I played on social media. I, took care of a family member. I have children, so I did some homeschooling for a couple of hours. You'll get such a great picture of how you're spending your time and your energy. And, if you believe anything at all about the law of attraction, it's like, energy goes where intention flows. Intention, did I say that wrong? Energy goes. Energy flows where intention goes. There you go. Energy flows where intention goes. So, whatever you have on your mind, whatever your intention is, that's where your energy is going to go. So, even just do it for a couple of days and just get an idea of how you're spending your time and how you're spending your energy, and kind of look for themes. And this is going to tell you, even just by examining that, it's going to tell you, it could be a real eye opener. I spend way too much time watching TV, or I'm always saying I don't have time to exercise. I say I don't have time to sit and read. I say I don't have time to write letters to my friends, whatever it may be. That will give you a really good idea of what you are spending your time on. Okay, so here's the next one. This is a tough one. It's not a tough one, but it's really soul searching. And this is nice if you can do this one with a friend, okay? You can do it on your own, but if you can do this with a friend, a trusted friend. So it's an interview. You're going to interview each other. Now, I kind of jotted down my responses to this because it really got the juices flowing. So remember, I'm trying to figure out my new norm after I retire, because I'm so afraid of being stuck. I'm so afraid of being stuck in this rut that I have been in, and not having a new routine and not even knowing where to start. So I want to start on it now. I have a few months to start on it. So I want to chunk it out and figure out what kind of life I do want to live and find a way to get there. So the first question, if you want to write this down, you can, because it's a cool thing to do with a really good friend. Number one is, how would you describe your ideal day? Sounds kind of simple, and it doesn't even have to be anything complicated. I don't mean an ideal, dream day of, I'd like to be in Paris, eating croissant and, drinking cafe au lait. And it doesn't have to be that luxurious. It's just your ideal day, your everyday day. So I'm trying to picture like my day after I retire. Very simple things that I wrote down that just popped in my mind. So just speak or write the first thing that comes to your mind. And I wrote down, wake up without an alarm clock. Have a really good cup of coffee. I love coffee. Like, that's really an important part of my day, is to have a really good cup of coffee. Have some quiet time. Meditate in the morning, or I love to practice that, don't break the silence unless you absolutely have to. I like to see how long I can go in the mornings without breaking the silence. So right now, I already have an idea of a routine that's going to be different from my norm now. So I won't have to get up when the alarm says so. I'll wake up naturally when my body wants to wake up. I'll enjoy the peace and quiet of the house, and I'll enjoy really good coffee. Like, that sounds really good for my morning. So the next thing is something that I want to incorporate into my new story is exercise. I've been working on this. My struggles with my back have prevented it for quite some time, but I'm taking baby steps now. I joined a gym this week. I'm already getting the flavor of, what types of classes and workouts I'll be able to do. I'm studying the schedule to see what classes are going to be available for maybe mornings. Or do I just want to, after I've had my good cup of coffee, do I just want to go, hit the treadmill for a while? If it's a beautiful day, go for a nice walk. But I know that exercise, especially in the morning, is a really big deal for me and it's something that I really want in my life that I can't have now because I'm not willing to get up at 5 a.m. to exercise before I start work in the morning. That just doesn't work for me. It's don't set goals that are not realistic. You know yourself better than anybody. And just because your best friend can get up at 4:30 or 5 and, run 5 miles in the morning doesn't mean you should. So you do what works for you. And I just know that I need a little space and time in the morning, and then I want an exercise routine. So I'm working on that. I'm working on establishing that and visualizing what I want that to look like. So I'll get there. I want more girlfriend time, like during the day. This is something that I mentioned last time that I really miss from being in the office. I miss my good friends, guys and girls. I miss going to lunch with them. I miss the jokes. I miss, I miss the meeting of the minds. You're with like-minded people. You're on pretty much same intellectual level. You're having really good intellectual conversation. Plus you're having you've developed relationships and friendships with these folks. I'm going to lose that after I retire. So replacing that with more girlfriend time, more lunches with my friends, or maybe volunteering in the community, finding something that I can do where I'm contributing, and I can have these conversations and have some input on something that I feel is important. So you think about these things. Think about what would make an ideal day for you, and write your story. Another thing I mentioned last time that I want more time to do, I want to read more. Guess what I did? I finished my book. Look, I was reading The Lost Apothecary. I started reading this probably 2 months ago, and I just kept, I'd read a little bit, put it down, read a little bit, put it down, because if I would read when I went to bed at night, I would just fall asleep instantly, and there was never time during the day to read because I work all day. And on the weekends, I'm doing too many other things to carve out any reading time. So reading is something in an ideal day that, maybe in the afternoon after lunch, maybe I'll have a cup of tea and settle in and read a good book. Start reading more, taking more walks. I want to enjoy watching TV. I do, but I want to carve out time. I almost have this fear of, if I don't have a plan like this, that I'm going to get hooked on a Netflix series and I'm going to wake up in the morning and just turn it on and just sit there all day. I do not want to be that person, but I can see how easily that could happen. But I do want to make time for TV because I do enjoy it. And the last thing that I wrote, I also have making time for family. I want to talk to family every day. I'm always so rushed now with conversations, especially when my children call me. I always feel like I'm saying, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting. I'm sorry, in a meeting. Can I call you back? And I don't always have time to call back. And I feel horrible about that. So that's something that will change, and that'll be part of my new story of my ideal day, is being able to call my family whenever I want to and talk to them. And then to wrap this up and come full circle for the end of the day, I want to sleep in a comfortable, relaxing, beautiful, serene bedroom. That is really important to me. I love staying in a hotel because I love just how perfect and cozy everything is, and how everything is just so elegant. And that's what I'm trying to create in my own bedroom now, so I can have that experience at home. And I want my candles, and I want my scents, and I want the aesthetics are so important to me. I have to have things in just a certain order. It's crazy, but I know it's important to me. So it's something I work on. So that was just the first question, guys. That was the first question of the interview. for you to do with a trusted friend. And that question was, how would you describe your ideal day? And you can see those are just very basic things that I wrote down. The second question, what lights you up? Like, what makes your eyes sparkle? Like, what gets you, like, giddy, excited? And they might not be things that you do already, but it's going to give you a really good idea of what you should be doing in your life. Things that light you up, that get you so excited. These are things, these are clues of how you should be spending your time to live your best life and to be the most purposeful and useful to the world. So here's what lights me up. Mentoring. I mean, that just came to me, mentoring. Again, that's something that I do on my job. One of my favorite things to do at work is to mentor the folks coming up behind me. I want to teach what I know. I want to help form them to be the best employee they can be, and to teach them people skills. So that's something that lights me up. So in my new world, I need to find a way to continue mentoring. And a million things are flying through my head that I don't even have to speak of, but a million things are flying through that I know I can do to satisfy that mentoring. So that's something that lights me up and that I know brings me to my true purpose. I love sharing yoga and I love teaching yoga. Lights me up like crazy. I'm at my absolute happiest when I'm teaching workshops, when I'm doing live videos like this, or when I'm actually teaching a yoga class. Love it. I mean, I get so excited. So I'm finding ways to continue that. I've started these Yogi Talk sessions, and I am pretty close. I'm really close to being able to do virtual yoga classes. I'm already starting to structure and plan. I just want like 30-minute sessions. They'll be free because it lights me up. That's what I want to do. I want to give. I've always, if you've ever come to any of my classes in the past, you know I hate to charge for yoga. I feel like it's something I have that I can offer, that I can share, that hopefully I can make a difference. And I have a really hard time charging money for it. So my virtual classes will be free. I just want to do like 30-minute sessions, very easy, yin, relaxation, stretching, meditation, just things for your body and your mind, just to kind of get you going. And I'm also enjoying, I've started a new side hustle business with selling pharmacy, cosmetics, and makeup products, skincare line. This is something that I am doing to earn extra income to supplement my annuity after I retire. So that kind of lights me up too. I'm only doing like a smidge of it right now that I really, really want to do because I don't have the time to dedicate that much to it. But today, I spent a lot of today organizing all of my pharmacy things and putting them in drawers and kind of setting up a space for me to do my live videos for that. So that's something that lights me up. Again, that's, all tying into what your purpose is and what you should be doing. Third one, I love this question. What captures your curiosity? Has anybody ever asked you that? What captures your curiosity? If you're someone who's out there dating, if you're in the dating world, ask that question next time you go on a date, or ask your partner today. I mean, I think it's such an interesting question. What captures your curiosity? So I said reading. That is a common thread, and that's another thing I want you to listen for. when you're writing these things down, or when you keep talking about visualizing the life you want and plans that you have for your future, things that light you up, things that make you happy, things that bring you joy, you're going to find common threads. And one of the common threads here for me is I keep writing down and saying, I want to read more. I have a bookcase full of books that I just have, I get so excited about, and I'm not necessarily, I don't want to say self-help books, because a lot of my books are philosophy. Like, okay, this is one of my favorite books, To Know Yourself, by it's the Essential Teachings of Swami Satchidananda, things like that. I love reading books where I'm learning something new, or I'm expanding my knowledge base, but it always seems to tie back to my love for yoga and living a life of yoga. Yeah, so that captures my curiosity. Expanding my teaching horizon, learning different ways of methodologies, modalities of, teaching yoga. Writing, isn't that crazy? Writing, like I've been so curious lately about writing, like writing my story. I don't actually think I can write a book, but why not write a manuscript? Why not sit down at my laptop and just start writing my story? I have so many fascinating things I want to talk about, and even if nobody else ever wants to read it, how therapeutic, for myself, just to have things documented that are swimming around in my mind. So writing, journaling more, that captures my curiosity. And another thing that captures my curiosity is trying new things. Some of these things aren't necessarily new, but I haven't been able to do much of it. But I want to do more kayaking. I want to do more hiking. I just started an indoor cycling class at the Y. How much fun. And it was just exhilarating, that physical activity. So finding different activities that I enjoy, that captures my curiosity. I just think that's an incredible question. Here's one. Question number 4. What do you love doing so much that success or failure doesn't matter? Think about that. What do you love to do so much that success or failure doesn't matter? I knew instantly, and you can probably figure it out, that it's teaching yoga for me, because I've already said that I've never done that to make money. I don't intend to be the millionaire yogi by any means. It's just something that it tugs at my heart, that I want to do, that I love to do. So what's your answer? What's your answer? What do you love doing so much that it doesn't matter if you fail or succeed at doing? You just have to do it. And I also have in there like community work. I'm really drawn. I haven't figured it out yet. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something out there that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'll figure it out. This is where we kind of they say, be silent so you can hear the whispers of God, or this is why I like to start my morning out with total silence. Like, you guys, I don't know how we got here, but why do we feel like we have to be entertained 24/7? Why do we feel like there has to be something in the background keeping us entertained? We don't. It's like, don't be afraid of your own thoughts. Like, you need to hear what's going on in your mind. You need to hear what's heavy on your heart. You need to process the emotions, whatever it is you're going through. Don't hide from them by thinking you have to be constantly entertained. And it's so awkward sometimes with people. Like, you get people together and you instantly think, oh, like, where do you work? What do you do? Like, how many kids do you have? Like, all this small talk. And there's a place for that. But you can get to know somebody so much better just by being in their company and just being relaxed and maybe not speaking so much. So I know, and I got a little off track here, but this is important. I went to a yoga retreat one time, and most of the retreat was silent. And our meals together were mandatory silent time. And the first time I ever did that, holy cow, there were maybe 8-10 people at the table where I was eating. We weren't allowed to speak to each other. We didn't know each other. We were all from different places. Do you know how hard that is to sit there with like 8 or 9 strangers and you're eating a meal, you're sharing a meal with them, and you can't say anything? Like, we just feel like we have to speak all the time. But I tell you, once we got through that meal, there was like, we were kind of feeding off of everybody's energy, and it's like we all just kind of like synced up, like our souls just kind of synced up. And it was so comforting. It was not comfortable at first. It was extremely uncomfortable. But by the end of the meal, it was so comforting. It is like, I don't know, just to look at somebody and smile at them, and that's all it takes, is just a smile and sharing a meal. Anyhow, try that sometime. That's another part of living yoga. It is. Question number 5. What are you the most proud of? I think anybody out there who has children, you're probably going to say your children, and I am extremely proud of my children. So I absolutely have to say my children. I'm very proud of them. And that leads me to wanting to spend more time with them. I'm so blessed at the human beings they've grown up to be. I mean, they're just incredible people, and that's all I ever wanted. I always said when they were little, I didn't want to raise millionaires. I just wanted to raise good people. And boy, they've certainly made me proud there, because they are incredible. So I want to spend more time with my people. And then I also wrote because my career, like I said, has defined me for the last 35 years. It's who I have been. So very naturally, something that I'm proud of is, I feel like my legacy at work, I hope it will be the people I coached and the people I mentored and what I left behind and what I taught them. Not about accounting. Anybody can teach you about accounting. Not about federal government. That's not what I'm proud of. I'm proud of that I taught them how to deal with difficult situations and how to see the good in people and how to realize, when you have somebody at work, an employee at work who's really struggling or they're not performing, a lot of times the first instinct is, well, they need to be disciplined. They're not performing. They need to be disciplined. And, one of the lessons that I like to teach a lot, that I actually learned from my father, is that you don't have problem people. You have people with problems. So think about that, and you can apply that in life with your friendships, with your relationships, with the other moms at school, the other dads at school, your neighbors. strangers on the street that you meet. Understanding that we all have problems and we don't all wear it on our shoulder or, our heart on our sleeve. You can't see what people are going through just by looking at them. People hide it very, very well. You never know what's behind a smile, what's behind a sparkle in someone's eye. You have no idea. But if you approach things with understanding that they're not a problemed person, they're most likely a person with a problem, and approaching the situation with compassion and understanding, that's what I hope that I've taught. That's what I hope that I've taught and that I've left behind. So that is something that I'm proud of. The last question, I think this is the last question in this interview. Number 6, what would you drop anything for? No questions asked. What would you drop anything for? This should probably be pretty simple. Family and friends. Yeah. Absolutely. Family and friends, neighbors, someone in need, I'd drop anything for. An animal in need, I'd drop anything for. My cushion is sliding a little bit. What would you drop anything for? So those are 7 profound, thought-provoking questions. And that should give you a really good basis for rewriting your story. The things that light you up, the things that bring you joy, the things that you're proud of, the things you look forward to, the things you would drop anything for, the things that you would do whether you succeeded or failed. These are the things, these are the building blocks that should be a part of your story. Then you have to figure out how to incorporate them and make them your new norm. I don't know if you've ever done a vision board before. That was something I taught a couple of vision board workshops as well. I think they're very powerful. I don't know if we can do one virtually sometime, but maybe we could all do that together. The vision boards are very powerful, and if you're not familiar, it's really as simple as taking a stack of magazines or books or anything that you can grab, pictures or sayings, or hi Stephanie, pictures or sayings or mottos or anything that your heart desires. Cut pictures out, cut the words out, all these things that we just talked about, all of the questions that I just asked you that I wanted you to think about, things that you would love so much that you would do whether you failed or succeeded. What are you most proud of? What would you drop anything for? Basically, what's your legacy? What lights you up? What really gets you going? What captures your curiosity? That's my favorite question in this whole interview. What captures your curiosity? So if you go through magazines or catalogs, find all of these things that capture your curiosity and light you up and get you so excited. I don't care if it's a new car. I don't care if it's a house on the lake. I don't care if it's a bike ride on the beach. I don't care if it's a cup of coffee. I already told you coffee lights me up. Like, it's something that has to be part of my perfect day. Whatever it is, like, cut all these things out, words, phrases, and then plaster them all over a poster board or just a piece of paper. And that's your vision board. And that gives you something to look forward to, something to help you visualize the life you want, and a way of manifesting what you want. Like, you have to see these things. You have to see the life you want if you're ever going to get there. You have to see the body you want. And I don't care. I'm not saying anybody has to be any shape or size. I want people to be happy, beautiful, and healthy. And by living like good, happy thoughts, when you are genuinely thinking and feeling and loving from your heart and happy thoughts, it glows on your face and in your body. I mean, you can transform yourself just by visualizing the person you want to be. That was funny. Sorry, guys. I got a little too close to my tablet and I dropped everything. Let's see if I can get this set back up without. Are we there? This is not very steady. I did not have a very good setup tonight for this. Okay, so we're starting to visualize that life that we want now. Now, maybe you've made a vision board, maybe you're just thinking about it. It's a great thing to do, but I want you to revisit that list. Can you hear the guys listening to football upstairs? That's why it's been so crazy around here today. I didn't have time to get anything set up. But I want you to revisit your list. I want you to look back at the list you made of your ideal day, of what, what's the perfect day in a life for you? What are you doing? Let's see. You know what? Thanks for reminding me, Stephanie. Maybe that's what it is. Here we go. Cheers, girl. See, I forgot to take a drink. I need a reminder. But if you look back at that list of like your perfect day, your perfect world, the story you want to tell, the story you want to live, you saw it. Just start implementing small changes, whatever it takes, to make these things happen. Use those visions and those visualizations and trust your instinct. I'm telling you, the things that light you up in life are the things that, that's the genesis of your purpose. It really is. It's the whole basis of it. Whole basis of your purpose. So just figure out what it is that lights you up and that you love, that make you a good person, and then just start structuring your life around it. Can you hear them upstairs? Oh my goodness, my goodness. So I have some ideas for some future topics, and I'd like your input on some of these. So if you catch replay, I'd appreciate a comment. If you're commenting now, Joey's watching the game too. It's pretty exciting. I know this was a tough time to try to do a live. It's been pretty chaotic in this house with football all day and last night. So, but here's some future topics that I have that I'm planning, and I'm hoping I can do this. I'm going to say bi-weekly, but maybe once a week, maybe. But the topics I have: the power of meditation. It's, sort of the magic of mindfulness, how to meditate. Like, people think that meditation is beyond their capability, but I would really like to break that down for you, the power of meditation and how to do it, just baby steps. And then another topic I have is grounding techniques, teaching you some grounding techniques, the method of becoming present, aware, and attentive. Some really good tips for keeping yourself grounded if you're having anxiety, or if all this talk about being stuck is still like really freaking you out a little bit, and you're really still having a hard time thinking, how am I going to get out of this stuck place? Well, the first place we start is getting you grounded. Like, we've got to get you grounded. So one of the next topics I do is going to be on grounding techniques. Very simple, basic grounding techniques. And then I also want to, like I mentioned, my book, The Teachings of Swami Satchidananda. There are so many things in here that I want to talk about. I am going to find... This is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about transforming your body through your thoughts. So there is a chapter in here called Consciousness. And this is just one of my favorite lines from this book. But it's, you have the capacity to change your body just by your thinking. If you were always thinking generous thoughts and doing loving things for people, it will be expressed in your face and your body. People will see you and say, look, what a wonderful person. An angel walking. I don't know. That just really speaks to me. Really speaks to me. So there were a lot of topics in this book that that I learned from. There are topics about marriage. I would love to talk about that sometime, about how to have a godly marriage. Would you be interested in hearing about that? I love that subject. Or just how to be a good partner. The disappearing ego, business yoga, the art of receiving, the art of giving, child-parent relationships. There's so many things that we can talk about. So many things. So if you have any ideas, things that you would like to chat about, or you'd like to hear about, please let me know. I am going to close and let you all get back to your Sunday evening. I can't believe it's Sunday evening. Find a nice closing song here. I do love this song. This is called Bliss. I'm going to play So Much Magnificence because this song is how I end every yoga class for Shavasana. And I'm just going to burn a little Palo Santo. And I just invite you to reflect on some of the things that we talked about. Close your eyes if you want to. Lie down or just get settled into your seat. Just tell yourself you have nowhere to go. You have nothing to do. But just be here exactly as you are. Present in this moment. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. as you exhale, notice your heart softening, your mind softening. Inhaling and exhaling and allowing every joint in your body to soften.
There is so much magnificence.
And in your mind,
Near the ocean,
I want you to go to that perfect place.
waves are coming.
That perfect place that only you know. Where you are the happiest, the most loved, the most fulfilled, the best version of you. Just let that feeling wash over you. The sun shining down on you. Healing light swirling through your body. You're in that place. You're in that perfect place, that perfect world.
Waves are coming. There is so much magnificence. Near the ocean, waves are coming in. Waves are coming in. There is so much magnificence.
And as you carry on through the rest of your evening, the rest of your week, as you're starting a new week, anytime things get tough, anytime life gets in the way,
Waves are
you
coming.
get angry, you get sad, you get depressed, you can't find your way, take yourself back to that perfect place. It's right here, it's in your mind, and it's yours, and you can go there any time you want. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. It was a pleasure